From the Alvin and Rosalie Sarachek studio, PBS Kansas presents Hatteberg's People.
Tonight, we take a look back at Kansans who broke the mold, defied expectations, and lived life on their own terms. It's another half an hour of Hatteberg's People.
And we start with the Wichita firefighter who voluntarily flew into the Bosnian War armed only with a fire hose.
Then there's the story of Tracy Butler, a blind seamstress who proved independence isn't about sight, but about skill and determination.
And you'll also hear from the Kansas boxer who remembered what it was like to spar with his friend, the legendary Joe Louis.
Plus, we'll catch up with the couple who kicked off their retirement by running away with the carnival. Hello, I'm Susan Peters.
And I'm Larry Hatteberg. Those are just some of the stories queued up and ready to roll on this edition of Hatteberg's People. These stories are like old friends. Their lives radiate from the screen like prophets of the past. They were teachers, but not in a classroom. Instead, they taught about life to those around them who cared to listen, and I was their student.
In the mid-1990s, the nation of Yugoslavia violently disintegrated, igniting a brutal war fueled by ancient ethnic and religious hatred. And by 1995, the world could only watch in horror as Bosnian cities were besieged, shelled, and burned, a place most Americans know only from their TV screens.
Yeah, but for Wichita firefighter Scott Fromey, well, watching wasn't enough. While thousands were desperately trying to escape the war zone, he volunteered to go in. He flew into the heart of the conflict, not to carry a rifle, but to carry a fire hose.
At last count, one person was killed, another 36 injured when a rocket slammed into a satellite feed point.
For the world, Bosnia seems an unsolvable dilemma. A religious and ethnic fight so old, history books simply repeat lessons unlearned.
I've always been interested in what was going on in the world around me.
It's a long way from a Wichita fire station to the hills of the old Yugoslavia. But for Scott Fromey, it's not that far.
I had people tell me there's absolutely no way you can do this. You're not good enough for this. Or there's too many other people that want to do this too. Or you're going to get hurt.
All the reasons not to go, but Scott Fromey went anyway. Under the auspices of a UN agency, he went to Sarajevo not once, but twice to assist their fire department.
Firefighters have a tough enough job in a normal situation, but in a war situation, they're the last ones that receive any fuel or any assistance. They're pretty much forgotten.
Assigned to a neighborhood fire station in Sarajevo, he worked in appalling conditions.
We literally slept on human waste. We'd laid cardboard down and slept on cardboard. There weren't any beds. And not long after I arrived, we were able to steal some cots. A lot of things we got, we had to steal, or we had to bargain for, or we had to trade.
Before Fromey arrived, 16 firefighters had been killed and 68 wounded in the first 2 years of the war.
While they were silhouetted against the flames, snipers would line up and shoot them. In fact, they would often set the buildings on fire with tracer fire just so that the opportunity would arise.
But with the advent of a UN-sanctioned company, agreements were reached with all sides to let the firemen alone so they could do their job. Since then, no firefighter has been killed or wounded.
I can't change the war. I can't have any effect on that. No matter what I feel about it, all I had to do when I was there was concentrate on being a firefighter. I couldn't go beyond that. There's no way I could do anything more than that. There were times when the Sarajevans would applaud us, even though we had not done that much, and I felt that we had not done that much, and it was very frustrating to me. They would applaud us because they knew that we cared and we were trying.
In Sarajevo, a total of 2 months during both trips, Fromey knows he didn't change the war, but he did see life through different eyes.
And they are just like us. They have the same concerns that we do, and the same needs and the same wants.
And occasionally on television, he'll see one of his friends.
I re-experience the feelings I felt when they told me of their stories. I can see it in their faces. I think I'm very lucky, very lucky. I'm lucky to live here. I'm lucky to live safely.
Well, Scott Fromey retired from the fire department in 2020. Now he's still traveling the world, but now as a tourist.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm so glad he still gets to travel the world.
And the stories he has to tell?
Can you imagine?
I can't. Only he could imagine what he went through.
I wonder whether he's been back to Yugoslavia. That's what I wonder.
I don't
bet
know.
He has.
I'll bet he has too, because it's all calm over there, at least right now.
Well, thank you, Scott, for your service. We really appreciate it. And all of our veterans, of course. We love you and we appreciate you. Okay, when a child faces a life-changing physical challenge, the hardest part isn't always the disability. It's the loneliness that comes with being seen as different.
Well, in 1994, we met a man who understood that isolation very deeply. So he created a special new friend, one that looked a little different too, a cuddly ambassador designed to build a bridge of understanding, one hug at a time.
Marvin Malcolm of La Crosse, Kansas, had one of those jolly John Goodman-like faces.
If the room was filled with despair, he would always be the bright face in the room. The biggest, gentlest, he's like a bear, a big cuddly teddy bear.
Well, Marvin's life wasn't always easy. Following an accident, he found himself in a wheelchair for nearly 2 years.
The wheelchair back here, periodically Marvin would sit in that just so we could take him back and let him remember what it was like when he was in the wheelchair, to help him to relate to the children that he was trying to help.
That chair and this bear were to change Marvin's life forever. In a town known mostly for post-rocks, he began a new company. He produced a little wheelchair-bound bear, not as a toy, but as a therapeutic aid for kids. Kids who found themselves in a wheelchair, and for other kids who just needed to know what their friends were going through. He called it Pi Bear. P.I. stood for physically inconvenienced.
We try to get across to children that they're not handicapped. They're just physically inconvenienced, and now they have a different means of transportation.
His friend Art Richards drew pictures for the books that accompanied Pi Bear stories that told children how the little bear got hurt, but how in the wheelchair he was still just a normal bear. The company was struggling, but things were looking up. Last October 3rd, things were going well for Marvin Malcolm. He was starting to get some much-needed publicity for Pi Bear, and he came over to help his son Ty over here at the welding shop.
A minute or so after that, I turned around and he was laying on the floor.
The man whose dream it was to help kids through a little bear was dead. When a man dies, it can sometimes turn the lights out on a dream. But in the case of this little bear, no one wants this dream to die.
His idea was such a good idea. And there's so much loving and caring from Marvin and from all the volunteers here in the Pi Bear that it just can't die.
But the dream has been dealt a severe blow. The company is looking for someone who shares their dream, Marvin's dream, someone who will underwrite the cost of making these wheelchair-bound little bears so that kids who need them will get them free.
I know that I've got to keep going at it. That's exactly what he would have wanted. And I feel like he's still here pushing me too.
The dream is there and will always be there.
Well, despite their best efforts, the company survived really only a couple more years, and that was the end of Pi Bear. But you know, maybe in the future it could come back.
Okay, because you don't want to close that chapter.
No.
What a great idea, what an important thing to do. And if anybody out there thinks it's a great idea, has some spare time and maybe some spare coins, what a great thing to do.
Yeah, and when you find a guy who's helping people, helping children with wheelchairs,
disabilities,
I mean,
yeah.
It's just amazing.
It is.
And we should encourage that for others in the future to keep it going.
What a gift he gave, and we hope it continues to keep on giving through someone else. A fabric shop seems like an entirely visual world. A place filled with vibrant colors and intricate patterns.
Yeah, but in 1995, I visited a shop in Newton where their newest employee didn't need to see the colors to do her job. Tracy Butler was blind, and after struggling to find work, she was proving that a keen sense of touch and a determined spirit were the only qualifications she needed.
Trapped in a world of color, surrounded by the fabric of life, Tracy Butler carefully threads her way through Newton, Kansas.
Is there any elastic cut for these?
She is a seamstress in a fabric shop.
And I'm nervous.
About us, perhaps, but not her life. Tracy Butler is blind. A disease took her sight 10 years ago, but it couldn't take her spirit.
A lot of people tell me this, that you don't act blind. Well, I'm not sure I know how to act blind.
Every workday, Tracy makes a 40-minute walk to Donna Kay's, a Newton fabric shop. On the way, her seeing eye dog, Darcy, is focused on keeping Tracy safe.
We're completely interdependent. She depends on me to fulfill all her needs, and I depend on her to get me where I need to go safely. Well, we had a nice day for this. I think a lot of my attention is focused on her because I do have to pay attention to her. What messages I receive through the harness that she wears, you know, because that's what guides me.
Darcy, forward.
At work, it almost seems like she can see. Only minor adjustments have been made to the sewing machines.
I think people are fearful of people with handicaps just because they don't know. They don't want to say the wrong thing, they don't want to do the wrong thing. And if someone that has handicap can make people feel more comfortable, then you know the fear is not going to be there.
After staying home to raise her 2 children, Tracy found she needed a job. But most doors were closed to Tracy and her dog. It was Donna Knowlton who gave her a chance as a seamstress. And Donna sees nothing unusual in Tracy's blindness.
So I think, no, it's not anything unusual. But I work with her every day.
Donna's easy to work for and with, and she basically gave me a chance to show her what I could do.
Waiting patiently with a few doggy sounds emanating from Darcy's throat, she waits at her master's feet.
That was another concern. I thought, what's a dog going to do here all day, you know? But basically, she just lays there under the table.
Well, Tracy isn't interested in your sympathy. She does just fine, showing the rest of us how to live.
I guess I just maintain that I'm blind living in a sighted world, so it's my responsibility to fit into the world, not have everybody accommodate me.
Well, like many businesses over time, the fabric shop eventually closed. Tracy retired and moved to Kansas City. But when you have a disability, like blindness, she embraced it and made it work for her. And that's what many people with disabilities do.
That's what they do.
They can't change the disability, but they can change themselves.
They can change themselves. I'll
So
tell you
she
what.
did.
And before she moved to Kansas City through her fabric shop, she taught us all what spirit and determination is like. And,
Sure did.
And we rerun that story because now a whole new generation can be taught by the values that she actually experienced and lived.
You said that very well.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
Quite well.
Okay, in the 1930s, the biggest name in sports was the heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Louis. Millions knew him as a legend, but to one Kansas man, he was a colleague and a friend.
And in 1995, I sat down with Leonard Bernard, himself a successful amateur boxer from that golden age. He shared his incredible memories of trading punches with the Brown Bomber and what it was like to be a sparring partner for a global icon.
Poker-faced Joe Louis sunk the German dreadnought in the first round.
Joe Louis, one of the greatest fighters who ever lived. Leonard Bernard of Hutchinson was Joe's friend.
The kind of guy he'd like to be around.
Leonard remembers the days when he, too, was a fighter. He was known as the Bomber.
I started to fight when I was 14.
He was an amateur boxer in Hutchinson and was the Golden Gloves champ in the heavyweight division in 1941, both in Kansas and Oklahoma. But it was his life with Joe Louis that he treasures.
He was my buddy.
That's Leonard on the right with Joe. Today, Leonard's fighting days are past.
I like to fight. I enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it much as him or more.
He spends his time now refinishing antique furniture, but his mind still answers the bell in the ring. And he remembers those times when he and Joe Louis sparred.
He was hit. We hit before you knew it. He was so fast.
Louis knocked out the Irish dockworker in the 8th round.
He didn't have to think to hit you, but I did.
Leonard the Bomber Bernard never went professional, but his friendship continued with the legendary Joe Louis. And he remembers those times in Hutchinson when it was just him and Joe and no one else.
No news reporters know nothing. Just me and him. I still think about that today. I think about it today. His talk was simple. Not dumb, but simple.
Why should I go into the ring gun shy when Smell is 2 years older and I'm 2 years smarter in boxing?
Today, age requires a quieter setting for this old fighter, his nearby dog, the old shop, and memories. Memories of a man whose punch was like lightning.
So fast, Lord have mercy.
Over time, Leonard has helped and taught others about amateur boxing, but it was what he learned out of the ring that was also important.
Something about him, I'm going to tell you. If he's your friend, he was your friend. I liked him. He was good to me.
Now, Leonard Bernard passed away in 1999 at the age of 80. You talk about a guy who would have stories.
You kidding
sparring
me?
with Joe Louis.
Can you believe it? Not only that, stories of being hurt, like ouch,
Yeah,
right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, wouldn't there be a lot of ouches in his life? I mean,
If I was fighting, there would be, and I'd be the recipient of all the ouches.
But he could say he sparred with Joe Louis, and not very many people can say that.
Nope.
All right, in 1995, the world of big box stores and supermarkets was making the small town general store a distant memory.
Yeah, but in the tiny town of Elmdale, Glenn and Maria Bumgardner were still holding on, running the same store that they had opened back in 1947.
A hot day in Elmdale, Kansas has the dogs in a bad mood. The trains still come to Elmdale, but they don't hang around.
Pop time. Yeah, it's time for a cold pop.
About the only person who's been consistent over the years is this man, Glenn Bumgardner. But everyone here calls him Bummy.
Thank you.
You bet.
Ever since I was in school, I've been Bummy. Well, my dad's name was Bummy.
He's here when the flowers bloom in the spring. And he's here when the kids take over Main Street. And he's here when it's time to work. Bummy owns the grocery store in Elmdale. It is the only full-time business left.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to move anywhere. I've been here too long now.
In the rear of the store is Bummy's wife, Mariah. She makes the sandwiches. And at the moment, business is a little slow, but no matter.
I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't doing this. I'll be 82 in November.
Stores like Bummy's are becoming rare. It's so small, most companies won't deliver to him, so he has to search for food bargains at the bigger supermarkets.
See you later.
Okay.
But it is part of Elmdale's history, and that's important to Bummy.
I don't think either one of us could retire and be happy. I'd like to have some more time off. We haven't had a vacation for 10 years. Haven't got anybody to stay in the store. When you run a place by yourself, you don't have any help, who are you going to turn it over to?
It's a question that has no answer. By noon, traffic at Bummy's has picked up a bit. The men from the road crew are here.
Hi.
Bummy's malts are a hit.
Excuse me. Chocolate malt. You?
Yeah. Thank you.
His malts are famous county-wide, and Maria's sandwiches are always made to order.
Need 2 ham and cheese. $1.49. $4.46. 68, 70, and 30. 5. Thank you.
Bummy's isn't really a store. It's a place where history pauses to let time rest. Like the kids who play on the streets, who grow up and move away, Bummy's isn't forever either, but it's here for now.
Like I say, we'll probably be here forever, or as long as we can.
Outside, the trains rumble by every day. Every day, the same rhythm.
That about it?
Yeah.
Inside, too, Bummy's has its own pace.
Just glad I can get up and go to work every morning.
Well, Glenn Bummy Bumgardner passed away in 1997, but Mariah, true to her word, kept that store going. Now, she continued to provide sandwiches and conversation for another 16 years, being the hub of Elmdale, until she finally retired in 2013. Mariah passed away in 2018 at the age of 102. And one other thing about that story.
Yeah.
I had to arrive at like 4:30 in the morning to do that story.
Why is
because she went to work at like 5 a.m. And her house was right across the street from
the store.
From the store.
Yeah.
And there's a guy who would come by and escort her across the road at like 4:45 every morning. He drove a pickup and would stop by and take her arm, and because she was elderly, and get her across the street.
That is wonderful.
It's a small town, and that's what they do.
And that's why
And
we
that's
love
good.
small towns.
Exactly.
I'd love things like that to come back. We live in way too, I'm going to get on my soapbox, way too hectic of a world, and something like that just brings so much joy and peace.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
And she lived to be 102 because she worked forever, right?
She did, and there's a lot to be said for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Traveling carnival is a tough life of long hours, constant motion, and hot summer nights.
But it's a lifestyle that seems tailor-made for the young and the restless. But in the 1990s, I met the newest recruits for the Ottawa Carnival, Phil and Grace Springer. Now, they were a couple who decided their golden years were the perfect time to start a brand new career running the Midway.
Waverly, Kansas in Coffee County. A quiet little town, perhaps. And perhaps not. The Ottawa Carnival is in town. Headquartered in Derby, this little carnival plays small town America.
Is everybody ready? Here we go.
That's Phil Springer over there operating the Joy Gator.
I want $3 for the ticket.
Okay.
Nearby is Phil's wife, Grace.
Thank you.
She sells the tickets.
You can sit in that ticket box and watch, everybody in the world go by. Here, was that fun?
Phil and Grace retired years ago. He's a former Air Force fighter pilot. Grace worked raising the family.
Okay, seemed like a good way to keep young.
And that's why they do it. The folks who run the carnival asked the Springers to help during the summer season 2 years ago.
You knew how to do that. We spent 26 years in the fast lane, kind of, you might say, and now it's time to slow down a little bit.
Hello. Hi. 6 tickets. Okay.
Grace and Phil live in Onega, Kansas. But during the summer, this Midway is home.
This is made by Chance Manufacturing down in Wichita.
It's a chance to visit, but more than that, they are practicing the art of living, not retiring.
Hi there, young lady. I think the kids are the most fun. We just have a ball with them. Was that fun again?
A carnival is work, real work, and these folks know it. Grace makes sure the carnival grounds are clean, and Phil enjoys the faces of the kids.
Like on the go-gator, it screeches out and the eyes just get big, and the smile on the face, it's fun.
On this night, the evening was perfect, almost like a movie set.
And the people in the carnival itself are really kind of one big family. And they're fun to be around.
The town elders watched, the kids partook, and the Springers made retirement look far, far away.
I think once you stop and just do nothing, you grow old.
As the laughter continues on the midway, the Springers laugh at their friends' reaction to their newfound work.
We're staying younger than they are. I guess we feel good that we can keep up with the younger kids as much as we can.
Meeting the Springers, retirement becomes only a word. And for them, a word with very little meaning.
My knees feel pretty good. They're not wobbling. It's fun. No regrets.
Grace and Phil decided 3 years with the carnival, though, hey, that was enough. And when they went ahead and retired for good. Now, they've since passed away. And in 2022, Ottawa carnivals went out of business.
Wow.
It's the fate of a lot of those small town carnivals. It's hard to keep them running. It's difficult.
So we got updates on that story, both with the subjects of the story and the business they were working for. And I don't know, I'm sorry, I get a little sad that people pass away, businesses close shop, and everything changes.
It does. The carnival life is a difficult life.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, and I can understand how it's difficult to keep them in business.
I can too. Well, I guess that's time for us too. Only temporarily though, not forever. That is a wrap for this week. We want to remind you though that now that federal funding has been taken away, PBS Kansas needs to decide which programs to keep and which to cancel.
Well, Susan and I volunteer our time, but producing television shows, hey, it is expensive. Now, if you would like to see Hatteberg's People continue, you can go to kpts.org and make a $100 donation to help keep this show funded.
And as a thank you, your name will appear before and after the show as a valued supporter. So get up off the couch.
And do it.
People love Hatteberg's People. I hear it all the time in the grocery stores, at the gas station. Don't go, where else do I go?
You go everywhere.
Out and
You're
about,
everywhere.
the restaurants. We love Hatteberg's People.
That's very humbling to hear.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Susan Peters.
And I'm Larry Hatteberg. We hope to see all of you again very soon.